Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahil Kareem. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd, fa inna khayral hadithi kitabullah, khayral hadi Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wa sharral umuri muhdathatuha, wa kulla muhdathatin bid'ah, wa kulla bid'atin dalalah, wa kulla dalalatin finnar. Inshallah, today we will start the this one. We'll continue on the Muslim House series, and Alhamdulillah, we have covered most of the things. And just today and tomorrow will be the last class for the Muslim House, and we'll finish this book with inshallah 40 recommendations from the Sunnah, from the Quran, and some other advices in which we can make our house a better place for a blessed place, inshallah. So we will start with the new recommendation today. Just 1 second. Okay. Alhamdulillah, so far we have covered. Alhamdulillah, so far we have covered. Alhamdulillah, so far we have covered. So far we have covered 24 recommendations, 23 recommendations, and we will continue from the 24th recommendation. Now the recommendations which I will mention, I will not go into too many details because we have to most of the things we have already covered. So these are just a summary of some of the recommendations. The recommendation number 24: resisting bad manners in the home. If somebody is having a bad manners, maybe someone is involved in any kind of sins, maybe the person is he has a habit of lying, or maybe a person is having a habit of backbiting. So in that case, what should we do is that we should resist that person. Means it's not always a good idea to punish that person, but one other thing is, from the Sunnah we know that we stop talking to that person, we resist him for a while, and until and unless he realized that I've done a mistake and I should repent. From one of the hadiths in which Aisha radiallahu anha, she said that if the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to know that one of his household had told a lie, he would try to ignore him until he repented. So if someone in the house he has lied or he has done something bad, so one of the advice from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that you should resist him, like you stop talking to him. So the next person, he will realize that I have done some kind of sin. So inshallah he will repent because of that, or if he has done something with you, he might come back to you and say you sorry in that case. The next advice is hanging up a whip where the members of the household can see it. Maybe you can hang a stick or a whip, which the member of the family they can see. And this is actually with regards to mentoring, bringing good behavior in the kids you have at home. What happens is that the kids now we are lacking in disciplining our kids as per the Islam. Now our kids are actually, if we go back to 50 years, the things were, maybe 30 years, the things were very different. Even ourselves, our kids, how they discipline us, nowadays it will be very difficult. We cannot discipline our kids the same way how we were disciplined by our parents. So one of the advice is that is the recommendation with Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, hang up the whip where the members of the household can see it. for this is more effective in disciplining them. Maybe you can have a stick in your house, and where the kids they can see it, and whenever they misbehave or do anything, they will know that there's a stick, and my father or my mother, they will beat me with that stick. Of course, that stick is to bring fear or make them in bring them in discipline. It's not that you beat them always with that stick. Because the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is that he was very merciful to the kids, and he did not recommend it to beat the kids. Of course, beating the kids should be the last option for us. So there is nothing to suggest that it should be used for hitting, because the Prophet ﷺ did not command anyone to do that. What he meant was to keep on disciplining them. Nowadays, there is a mistake which most of the parents they do, is that they always threaten their kids that if you will not eat food or if you will not go to bed, I'll call the police, or I'll call the watchman or the haris. And what happens is that we have seen the kids, they're scared of the policeman, and even though they have never seen the policeman, but they are scared of the police. What happened in that case is, when the kids they grow up, maybe when they are 5 6 year old, because we have put the fear of the policeman or the watchman, the haris, in their heart, and they think that this policeman is the one whom I have to scared of, have to be feeling all the time. So they think that they are someone whom we have to fear. It is not Allah. So what we need to do is, what we need to educate our kid is that we need to put the fear force in a proper way, the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe they will lie, or they will misbehave. You can tell them in a proper way that Allah is watching you, Allah will become angry with you, or fear Allah. So we have to put the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hearts of our kids all the time. So if they do anything bad, misbehave, so you always tell them Allah is watching you, and Allah, fear Allah. Because so what will happen when he will grow up, maybe 6 7, he will know, yes, Allah is there, Allah is watching, and Allah is watching me all the time. If I'll misbehave, if I'll do something, if I'll lie, even though my parents are not there, Allah is always watching. So we need to bring up this akida in the heart of our kids from the very early ages, inshallah. So this was the recommendations. Hitting, as I said, like this should be the very last option. If your kids they are not disciplining, and they're not listening to you, and they are misbehaving badly, and they are actually disturbing the culture of the home, so that should be the last case that you hit them. Of course, also for the women, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in Surah Nisa, that as to those women on whose part you fear ill conduct, admonish them first, next refuse to share their beds, and last beat them lightly if it is useful. So even for the case of the woman, that should be the very last case. If of course it's not for everything, but there are certain things for that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran. And when we look at the other hadith in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that order your kids to pray when they are 7 year old, and hit them if they do not do so when they are 10. So it's like when they are 10, you can hit them for the prayers. They should be praying. And on the other hand, there are those who think that they should never use this method of discipline at all, like hitting the kids or keeping the stick in your home at all, be following some kuffar, some disbelievers education theories. This is also mistaken opinion, and that goes against the Sharia, that we should not be taking this thing from the kuffars, that they have the habit of that they cannot touch their kids. Like if you will hit your kids, or if not even hitting, maybe you will shout at your kid for discipline, the police, like if the policeman will know, if at the school they will know, they will send the police to your home. Subhanallah. Like you cannot even discipline your kids in those countries. So always like follow the sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in order to discipline your kids, in order to discipline your spouses, and of course for everything we have to take the examples from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We'll move on to the next advice number 26. Beware of non-mahram relatives meeting women with their husbands and when their husbands are absent. We have already studied this recommendation before as well, that when the husband is not present, and the non-mahram relatives, they should not be coming. They should not be allowed to meet your wife. Maybe like if you think that they are just relatives, they're just cousin, still they should not be meeting your wife in the absence of husband. So this is not allowed. What happens, that we think that it's okay, he's my wife's cousin, or he's my cousin, he's a family relative, so there's no problem that when even if I am absent, my wife, they can come at our houses. This is not allowed in Islam. This is not allowed in Islam. So you should the women, the sisters, the spouses, they should take care of this thing. They should take care that whom the husband does not like, or if he's non-mahram, that then she should not allow them to enter the house. Maybe from the door they can say, there's no problem in that. From the door they can say, my husband is not present at home, maybe you can come back later. Maybe even for the cousins, there's no problem. Don't think the problem is like the women, the spouses are too shy to say that. They think that maybe they will mind if I will not allow them to enter the home. You don't have to think about that. You have to see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us. If Allah has commanded that they should not be there, then khalas, you don't care about whoever that the person is not liking that or not liking. I always say, always take care of what is pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you will do what is pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah Allah will put the love in people's heart because of that. And also, like if you think that you will bring love in others heart by displeasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that will never happen. That will never happen. So always put the priority Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then other things. Of course, with regards to Sharia, if this is the Sharia, the law of Sharia, you should not be allowing any non-mahram into your houses. The next advice, the next recommendation is recommendation number 27. Men and women should not sit together, or they should not be mixing between men and women during family visits. The problem is, what happened is, always like this is big problem, especially in our culture. It's a big problem that the cousins, they think it's okay, we are family. It's not okay. Cousins, they are non-mahram cousins. They should not be sitting with the spouses, with your spouses, with your daughters. No, it's not allowed in Islam. They should always be separate gatherings. If your house is small, maybe you arrange some kind of curtain. That's maybe there are boards actually comes, which the portable boards. You can just open them and put them in between, and the woman can sit on the other side and men can sit on this side. What happens if we will not do that? Then um, the big problems can happen. Like we all are sitting together. One person is speaking to your wife, and we are arguing on something. Maybe the other person can make joke with your wife, and the eye to eye contacts. These all are big problems. We have to avoid these all problems. In order to avoid these things, there should be no mixed gathering. And also, if there is any invitation, like we should be this is like the haq, that we should accept the invitation of the walima, the reception party of the marriage. But if there is mixed gathering, if there is music, we are allowed to not go there. We are allowed to reject them because of this thing. Because, and this is not allowed in Islam, to mix gathering. Wallahi, big problem. Why? Because maybe the spouse she is like she's not covering like she have to cover. Especially, we know, like when there is a party at home, the human, they try to adorn themselves for, of course, for others to look, so for the women actually. But in that case, if there's mixed gathering, then everyone can even look at your spouses. And also, the one problem can happen is that you look at, a person can look at other's wife, and other can look at our wife, and we can compare. Like his wife, she's so polite, she's so nice, and she always listen to her husband. And similarly, you can compare the wife, they can compare between the husband as well. So in order to avoid these all fitnas, we should not allow any kind of mixed gathering at home. No matter it's your cousin, don't care if they will not like it. Don't care about these things. Care about what Allah wants from us. Moving on to the next advice, beware of the danger of having male drivers and female servants in the house. Subhanallah, big fitna, big fitna, which people they don't they take it very easy, very easy. Female servants or the male drivers. In both cases, this is very big fitna. What can be some problems because of the male drivers? I'll mention you few of the problems. The woman ends up being alone with the drivers who are strangers, non-mahram. Of course, it's not your brother who will become your driver. It's a non-mahram which will become your driver. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, no man is alone with non-mahram women, but the shaitan is the third one present with them. No matter how much you trust your driver, no matter how much you trust your wife, no matter it's a pious driver or a non-pious driver, this is hadith is clear. Like a man and woman together alone, then the third one will be the shaitan. May Allah protect us all. So your wife, your daughter can be with the non-mahram driver, and for of course for the car in the house, and women do not refrain from going out wearing adornments and perfumes in front of the drivers. Of course, maybe your wife, she's going to some wedding with the driver, and she don't mean to put the perfumes for the driver. She don't mean to adorn herself for the driver, but she's going for the wedding party. Maybe the wedding party is a separate, not a mixed gathering, but still she's going with the driver alone. Subhanallah, he is a non-mahram for your wife, for your daughter. So take care of this. This is very big fitna. People, they don't care about this thing. They say that he's my driver, and they leave these drivers alone with their daughters, with their wives, with their mothers. So we have to avoid this thing. This is not a small thing. And many often we come to know about stories what the drivers they did with their daughters, or with the spouses, or maybe later they have some relation with the driver, the daughters. It's a common thing. It's a common thing. Unfortunately, it's a common thing. But people, they are not worried, or the people, they even though they are being stung from the same animal, same person, they still do the same thing. Or maybe even they see the fire in the neighbors, but still they don't realize that it can be in our houses as well. So take care of this thing. The male drivers or the female servants, even the female servants at home, it's a big problem. Like you leaving the female servants with your young kids at home, with your husband at home. The third one is shaitan. Anything can happen. No matter how much you are trusting your son, your children, or your husband. I'm not saying that you betray the trust or anything, like you should start having the shock on your husband. No, but I'm telling you the reality. It can happen. It can happen. So we have to, if we want to have a female servant, then there should be a proper hijab for the female servant, and there we should take care of these things, that you should not be leaving the female servant with alone with your young blood, young kid at home, or even with your husband at home. So there should be Islamic Sharia laws, or there should be Sharia applied, implemented in your house in order to protect yourself from these all fitnas. And other problems can be that you're bringing the servants, the drivers, or the female servant at home who are kuffars. Maybe they are raising your kids. You're not at home. Maybe they can teach them something which is not allowed in Islam. So these all things, they're big problems. Family breakups due to an affair with the female servants, family breakups due to the affair of the male drivers. It's very common. It's very common now. It's not something that it happens once 50 years back. No, every now and then you will hear these stories everywhere. It's not like only in one country. Everywhere it happens, due to this hadith that the third one will be the shaitan. Maybe your daughter, she's very nice, she's very polite, even she's pious, but shaitan can attack anyone, anyone, any day. Maybe not for a year it happened, but maybe the next year. Maybe it's not your daughter, maybe the driver, he does it. He blackmail or do something. It can happen anything. So please take care of this thing. Better to drive yourself. And if the woman, she needs to drive, she can also drive as well, in order to protect herself from these fitnas. It is much better that the woman, she does the thing, she drives, rather than having a non-mahram driver, and he's riding her everywhere. So please take care of this thing. The next advice is kick immoral people out of your houses. We have studied this recommendation before as well, that if the person is immoral, like is not good and he's not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his akida is not right, means always whenever he's coming to your home and he is bringing no khair into your house, and also he's disturbing the culture of your home, or the Islamic gathering which you have in your home. So you should ask them to not come to our house. Also, in one of the hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned about a person who imitate a woman, and if a female who imitate men, you should not allow them to enter into your houses. The next advice is beware of the danger of the TVs. Subhanallah. Again, like these old advices, as I've mentioned, this book is amazing book, and throughout, the recommendations which we have studied are, inshallah, I'm sure it is benefiting me, and I'm sure it will benefiting us all, with regards to we can actually make our house a better place, as a Muslim house, a blessed place, inshallah. So the TV is big problem. The series on TV, and even the news. You're watching in the news. It's always, you see the non-mahram, the ladies. They are sitting, and they're giving the news, and they're not covered as at all. Do you think there's no problem in watching anything on the TV? Do you think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that lower your gaze only in public, not on the TV? Even it's on the TV. You cannot watch movies. If you think that it's okay to watch movies sometime, it's not okay. It's not okay. There are big problems in the movies. Even like some people say, there is no romantic scene in the movie. There's no problem. We can watch this. How can you watch a movie? You're watching movie for 2 hours, 3 hours. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time while watching the movie. And imagine, like, you die while watching the movie. Imagine that you die while watching the movie at the cinema. You will be raised in the same way how you will die. Would you like to be like dying while watching the movie, while watching the series, while watching something on the Netflix? If you think it's okay, then answer yourself this question. What if you are watching any series on Netflix at night, 2 a.m., when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us to come, stand in front of me and ask me anything, I will give you. Ask me for the forgiveness, I'll forgive you. But at that time, you are watching Netflix, you're watching series. And I don't know, like, there's some new series, from some Turkey new series is there, and people are learning the deen from that series. Allahu Akbar. Of course it will happen. When you are not serious with your deen, when you don't want to learn the deen, shaitan will bring up new things that will be more attractive to you, and you will think that I am learning deen from them. How can you learn deen from these series? And watching movies, again, like, if you think it's okay, then look at the two words. There's always a background music going on. There are always maybe there is no romantic scene. It's not only about romantic scenes. It is about, you are watching the female, the non-mahram, the female coming full hijab and everything. No, it's like, what is hijab? Like, no, the kuffars, they are watching their movies. And 3 hours, 2 hours, you are disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A continuous disobeying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So next time you want to watch the movie, remember that Allah is watching you, and you are disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 2 hours, for 3 years, or for what number of hours the movie is, or for what number of hours the series is. Even the cleanest series which you want to watch, there will be something in that. There will be something in that. If nothing, then the humans will always be there. If nothing, the music will always be there. So TV is big problem at home. We should not be. Well, I don't want to have the TVs in the home. It's like always like there is some problem. You watch news, there is problem. You watch anything, there is problem. There is music. YouTube, you play in YouTube, you want to listen to anything informative, there'll be music at like in the background. And where there is music, there is no angel. The shaitan is there. So please take these things. If you like, it's the option. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us with the mind. We have the option to choose the things. We are not animals, or we are not angels that we don't have the wish. So we are not animals, we are human being. Allah has given us this choice. Our mind is there. If you want to disobey Allah, we can disobey Allah. Allah will not stop us. Allah will not be stopping us. That no. Of course, like if you are pious, if you have tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will stop you from the sins. But if you are not, then Allah will not stop you. Allah will leave you like that. And we have option of good deeds. 2 hours, you're watching something bad, maybe you can watch 2 hours Islamic lecture. Maybe for 1 hour, you can learn new things every day. Anytime you have time, you think you have free time. Wallahi, we don't have free times. We don't have free times. Have you memorized the Quran? If the person, like especially in the lockdown, they don't know how to pass the time. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Wallahi, if you realize you don't have time, you don't have time. Have you memorized the Quran? Do you know the series of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Do you know his life? Do you know the life of the prophets? Do you know the life of the companions? How they used to spend their life? Do you know each and every ruling of Islam? Do you even know that how to pray properly? No, we don't know anything. But we don't know how to pass our time, because our whole goal is for this dunya. We were so much busy with our work, our businesses, but now we are at home, we don't know what to do. Now you have to open up the Quran. Now you have to open up the books, how you can change yourself, how you can change your family, how you can better your salah, how you can, these all things, these all important things. So we have to take care of these things. Next advice, I will quickly go, because we are running out of time. And inshallah, tomorrow will be the last class. Inshallah. I'll take just two more advices, and then I'll finish on that. The next advice is similar to the TV, the phones. The big problems now, the phones. You have in front of you a screen. Just with one click, you can enter hellfire. Simple as that. Just with one click, one scrolling, you can enter hellfire. You can fill up the deeds of bad deeds with, like, maybe Allahu alam how much, just by one click. And for the kids, it's a big problem for the kids as well. Kids, they are watching what they're watching. We don't know what they're watching, what kind of cartoons they're watching. Music, always there's music in the background. And then we say that our kids are not listening to us. Then we say that our kids, we don't know what happens to our kids. It is because we have given them the iPads, the phones, and we are saying, do whatever you want to do. So we have to keep an eye, and we have to take care of these things. If we really want Islam, if we really, our goal is paradise, inshallah. Last advice for today: you have to remove everything that contains symbols of false religions, of the kuffars, unbelievers, or their gods and object of worship. What happens is, people sometimes they visit different countries, the non-Muslim countries, and they bring some kind of gifts, or some kind of, the I don't know, the souvenirs from those countries, and they sometimes don't realize, and even they don't realize, they don't care. There's a cross sign on the pictures, and you have them on the walls. Or maybe sometimes, like, they think it's funny, they bring the Buddhist the statue of the Buddhists, and they place in their house. So this is not allowed. This is not allowed. You should throw all of these things. You need to find out if anything you have brought from the non-Muslim country. Wallahi, like, always I was in Ireland, I was trying to find out, bring something like an Irish thing for my house, but I was not able to find anything. Maybe a small sticker for the fridge. I was not able to find it, because in everything there was alcohol, in everything there was a church sign, in everything there was some kind of problem. So if you have brought something, check them again. Maybe there are some signs which you don't know. So these are the things, inshallah. We will stop here on recommendation number 32. We will do our last class tomorrow, inshallah, bismillah, and we will move on from the recommendation number 33 to 40, and we will finish this book with the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah. And I hope that it has benefited us all, and I hope that we change the culture of our home as per the recommendation of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and I hope that this become the beneficial knowledge for us all and become sadqa jariyah for us all as well. Inshallah, I will see you tomorrow, same time at 5 p.m. Kuwait times. And if you have any questions, you can ask me, and I'll give you the answer from the Sahih Hadith from the right places, inshallah. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.